Okay, you're live.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the January 21st, 2021 Planning Board meeting. This evening, calling the meeting to order. In attendance, we have Matthew Brennan, Kirsten Harries, Aaron Carney, Ed McCarthy, Tom Andrus. So we have a quorum, and let me just read that tonight's meeting and work session is being convened in accordance with the governor's executive order number 202.1 issued March 13th, 2020, which suspends certain provisions of the New York State Open Meetings Law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view tonight's meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. This notice has been posted on the village's bulletin boards, Warner Library, Journal News, and the Hudson Independent newspapers, as well as a copy on the village website and the village Facebook page. So with that, our agenda for this evening is GTY New York Leasing Inc. Still pending zoning board approval. 143 Weber Ave, also pending zoning board approval. And then the third agenda item is Connor and Elizabeth Ginley at 5 Evergreen Way, a proposed single family residence. We will have a public hearing this evening on that application. Then we have Stevens and Kent House LLC coming back for a final subdivision plat approval. Next is the Hudson Valley Writers Center and a proposed subdivision final plat also, and a draft resolution for 4549 Beekman Avenue, the Sleepy Hollow Associates for a partial site plan approval, change of use. And then the continued public hearing for Edge on Hudson Block A. The applicant is actually asking for deferral until February's meeting, but we can see if there's any members of the public that are in attendance and want to make remarks. With that, I move to open the meeting.
Seconded.
That's Tom that has seconded it. And all in favor, Matt?
Aye.
Kirsten?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Okay. So let us jump into the agenda. The applicant, GTY New York Leasing, is actually on the agenda for February, and so there's nothing for us to review from the applicant today anyway. But are there any members of the public that are in attendance on that specific agenda item? If not, I move to adjourn the GTY New York Leasing 215 North Broadway amended site plan. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded.
Okay, Ed seconded it, and Tom,
Aye.
Kirsten. That was an aye. Aaron. Aye. Matt.
Aye.
Okay. So
I'm
we'll,
sorry, Margaret. Excuse me, Chair. What's the date of the February meeting?
The date of the February meeting is
18th.
February 18th.
Thank you.
So we adjourn until February 18th, 2021. Okay, the next agenda item, I move to open the public hearing for 143 Weber Avenue, proposed subdivision preliminary plat. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Tom has seconded it. There must be a better way to say that. Ed,
Aye.
Kirsten,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Matt.
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is open. The applicant has not yet applied to go before the zoning board. Do we have any members of the public here on that application this evening, Sean?
I do not see anyone raising their hand. No.
Okay. Given the complexity of this proposed subdivision and the easements and the wetlands and rezoning, I will say that it may make sense to cancel this application until such time that they are ready to come before the zoning board and then subsequently to us. So with that, essentially putting the applicant on notice, but let us adjourn until the February 18th, 2021 meeting. So moved. Can I get a second?
Second it.
Ed has seconded it. Kirsten,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Okay. So 143 Weber Ave is adjourned until February 18th.
And would you like for me or David or Sean or someone to notify the applicant?
Yes, please.
We will do that.
All of you collectively, Clinton and Sean and Dave and James.
Our department will take care of the notice.
Okay, I'll have a posse. Okay. Next is 5 Evergreen Way, a proposed single family residence, and I move to open the public hearing for the Ginleys. Can I get a second?
Second.
Kirsten raised her hand, so Kirsten is the second. Matthew,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Okay. So the Ginleys, who is speaking on your behalf?
Madam Chair, this is Ralph Mastromonaco, the engineer representing Connor Ginley. You have a site plan application for a single family house. We submitted this about a month ago. There really haven't been any major changes to the site plan except for one change, that there were 5 trees in the backyard, and now that we had shown those to be removed. Now the only tree in the backyard to be removed will be the 22-inch oak, which is crowded by an adjoining birch tree and is a little bit close to the patio. So the change wasn't significant enough to resubmit a whole package, but I did want to mention that at the outset before the public hearing actually began. I think your village engineer has looked over the plan. I didn't see any problems that he had with what we submitted. And if there were any comments that he had, these were something we would do at the building permit stage. Essentially, that's, that's what we have here. If you want to open the public hearing, if there's anybody out there for comments on this application, we'd like to hear them.
Yeah,
I can also share my screen if that's how you want to do this.
Yeah, the public hearing has been opened, Mr. Monaco. I do think it would be helpful for you to share the site plan. If you were listening in on the work session, there's a little bit of confusion as far as the specific tree removal plan. While the planning board members were all pleased that the Ginleys and our tree commission were able to reach a compromise as far as what trees to preserve, what trees to protect, as well as which to remove for construction. We couldn't get the count, didn't quite line up for us. So maybe you could share your screen and kind of walk us through that.
Okay. Let's see. No, it's not sharing exactly right now. Hold on a second, please. Oh, let's see, where is it? I don't actually see the screen now.
Hey Ralph, I have the site plan, at least the one that we submitted to the tree commission.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I can't see the screen that I'm going to share, even though I see it on my screen.
I'm gonna try myself.
No, if somebody has it, I'll be quicker maybe to,
Hey Ralph, I'm gonna try to.
yeah, for some reason I don't see it. Even though I can see it. I think I got it now. You see it?
Sir, we see a Zoom page with a dot. There it is.
There you go. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
All right. Who's operating this right now?
Mr. Pizzella?
Oh, okay. Well, if you can get up to this area at where the backyard is. I think that's an old plan, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is the most up-to-date plan I have, but I think the conclusion was we were going to leave this 24-inch oak and this 14-inch birch, and we're going to remove this 22-inch oak.
That's right. We had shown the two trees on the building envelope to be removed on the plan as well.
Yeah, but those will now remain.
Right.
And then I think there was a confusion about the 11 other trees, which are the group of trees down here. Counting them myself, there are 12 marked here. These 5, a sixth one, 4 more is 10, and these 2 make 12. Here there is a 6-inch white pine labeled, and the code only requires trees less than or more than 8-inch in diameter to have a permit. So the tree commission was referencing the other 11. They weren't considering the 6-inch white pine as the other count.
Thank you for the clarification.
And are the 3 in the back, is one of, how many are remaining and how many are coming down?
The only tree that's coming down in the back is the 22-inch oak.
Okay.
And where is the oak? I think it's on a neighbor's property that was specifically going to be protected.
It's back in this area. It's not marked on the site plan, but it is kind of adjoining the property line back here.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, there we go. So if there, if there are any comments on this plan, we're here to answer questions.
The planning board in Sleepy Hollow also serves as the architecture review board, and I don't think we've seen any of your materials as far as the siding or the roof or anything of your building plan.
Oh, I believe we sent those in, but I don't think, I'm not sure whether you've seen them, but I think we did send them in.
Okay, would you mind sharing them on your screen or?
It would take me a little while to find them because I wasn't prepared to show those today.
I'm going to, I'll be able to bring them up.
Will you be able to? Oh, very
yeah,
good.
Give me a moment. Shared. Oh,
Mr. Pizzella, do you want to introduce yourself?
yeah, sorry. This is actually Connor Ginley and Elizabeth Ginley. I think we were sent a link that has our name labeled wrong. Mr. Pizzella is
my
her
maiden
father.
name is John Pizzella, and my father's John Pizzella. He's been involved in the project. So.
I see. Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Well.
I'm just bringing up the application on the website. Is struggling with sharing the screen and scrolling here. Just a moment.
There you go.
Yeah, we're getting there. Okay. Okay, so okay, so this is the sort of look and feel of the exterior. Pretty standard white with a charcoal roof. We go down a little more. You see the rear, each side.
Is that a hardy board or what is the shingle
It is vinyl
vinyl?
siding.
How many stories?
With one basement, with the basement as well.
That'd be 2.5.
2.5. Sorry. So here's our siding in colonial white, kind of blown up from the architecture's website. Architectural shingles for the roof. Anderson 400 series windows in black. Above the porch, we have a standing seam metal roof. It's top of the porch. Just describing some of the light fixtures, exterior light fixtures you might see around the house. Then for the porch itself, we have AZEC columns and Trex.
What's the height of the house?
I believe it's around 31 feet. I would have to look at the plans.
Okay. And your square footage inside? Size?
Around 3,000, roughly.
Okay.
4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
How will the height compare to some of the neighboring properties that are there now?
I believe it's in line with the neighboring properties. I don't have the exact heights of the neighboring properties, but with that area, there are many 2.5 stories.
I'm sure the neighbors have been noticed, and I guess no one has chosen to attend this public hearing. My recollection is vinyl siding is not consistent with our design guidelines. Is that correct, Sean?
It's not one of the recommended materials, no.
Yeah. So have you considered a hardy board or non-vinyl siding?
Haven't at this point, but we're open to it.
Okay, yes, please give that some consideration.
If you're able to send the sort of recommended list you have for materials.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If you could provide that, Sean referenced some list of materials that is recommended. Having that list would be helpful.
John, so you'll send them the design guidelines?
Sure. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Any other comments on the facade and design of the Ginley's new home?
Marjorie, there is a question. It looks like there's somebody on Fort Kingsland Road that has a, okay, they just put some questions into the format. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, why don't we invite them to join the discussion versus reading?
You did. They're up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Haley Reed. I'm one of the owners of Kingsland Road, the adjacent property. This is my husband.
Hi there.
Good evening.
So we just had a few questions in regards to the oak tree on our property. And I wanted to kind of put a few things on record. I know that we spoke a little bit about protecting the integrity of that oak tree. And we wanted to clarify kind of what precautions were being put into place to preserve the root structure of the tree.
Well, if you'd like, I can answer. There's no excavation planned in back corner.
Wonderful, thank you. We also noted on the plans that there are to be sugar maple trees that will be planted near the fence line. And we're concerned that the planting of those trees may compromise the root structure, again, of our oak tree. we were wondering if there could be an alternative form of foliage that could be planted there just to ensure the same level of privacy screen, but would preserve the tree.
Yeah.
Just for clarification, along, I believe you're the house to the left.
Correct.
Yes, and the only plantings there, if that's your question, are shrubs.
Okay, I think the copy that we saw online indicated there were maple trees that were to be planted along the border.
Along the house, there are just shrubs. In the back of the house, there would be some plantings. Yes, these would be short trees.
Yeah, I think that's what we just want to clarify, that the roots of those trees do not interfere with the root structure of the existing oak tree.
Well, we'll make a case. We'll make it. I don't think a tree would interfere with a tree, but we'll certainly look at it.
The only reason we asked is because the oak tree will be right on the property line. Right. So if the maple trees are planted right there on the property line, the roots are going to hit.
Okay, well, we'll make a note that to set them back a bit so that there is no interference.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that tree is not shown on our site plan, so I don't know exactly where it is because it's on somebody else's property.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other question we had is actually regarding the fence that's going to be constructed in between the two properties. I don't know if you had a timeline on when that, when you guys were planning on doing that, because that would actually kind of help us do a little bit of planning on our side. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, Connor's on the line here. If he has a schedule and if the planning board cooperates, I think we can get a reasonable answer from Connor.
We don't yet have a exact timeline for the fence, but is there, do you have a preference earlier in the project, later in the project?
I don't know, whenever you're thinking, like March, beginning mid-March.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly, first of all, it's nice to meet both of you virtually.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you as neighbors. I think earlier in the project might be better from our perspective, just so we could plant, foliage as necessary, but we just wanted to have a sense of where you guys were at.
Okay, yeah, we likely won't begin the project until at least April, but we will certainly make a note that we will try to get the fence placed.
Yeah, that'd be great. Appreciate that.
Okay, well, thank you for joining the planning board and offering your concerns and comments this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Marjorie, just a quick comment or question. Ralph, would it be possible to show where that particular tree is located on your plan, just so that I'm assuming that the planning board is going to want to have a resolution for the next meeting. I don't want to be presumptive, but I'm assuming they're probably going to go there. But it'd be helpful, I think, to have that and for the building department as well, so that we all understand where that is and how it relates to the balance of the property.
The answer is yes.
Great.
Okay, any other comments on the new modular construction at 5 Evergreen? If not, I do propose that we draft a resolution for the February 18th, 2021 meeting. I guess with just a couple of open items relative to the trees as well as the building materials, I move that we adjourn this public hearing and reconvene on February 18th, 2021. Kirsten seconds, and all in favor. Tom,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Okay, we
Okay,
will see you in a month.
okay, what we plan to do then is to take some of the comments that we heard tonight and resubmit a plan shortly that you can, that the planners can use to develop a resolution. Is that okay?
Sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
We'll submit shortly. Thank you.
Great,
You.
Okay,
thank you.
have a good evening. Have a good
Good
month. See you in February.
Good night.
All right, Ralph.
Good night.
So long. So long, guys.
Bye-bye. Hey, next up is Stevens and Kent House LLC. This is the final subdivision plat approval. I see Mr. Schnaufer over the top of your head anyway. You're muted.
You're
John, you're
muted.
still muted.
Okay. Is this better?
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm
we can hear
sorry.
you now. Yeah, you can stay seated as long as we can hear you.
Very good. Good evening, everybody. I'm representing Stevens and Kent House and the National Trust on this application. The preliminary lot line adjustment, which is what this is, was approved back on October 22, 2020 by the resolution of this board. And we were scheduled to come back on December 17, but on the December 12th, we had a minor change done to the plat. With your okay, I can share some reduced versions of the plat that are marked. All I have to do, here is the share screen. With your consent, may I do that?
Yes, please.
Have we got a picture on your screen of the reduced plat?
Yes.
Very good. This was the original 3 lots that were involved with the lot line change. And what it was about really was to take out the red colored lot and wind up with 2 lots. The blue lot would be the title held by Stevens and Kent House. The green lot is held by the National Trust. And the idea for the lot that had been eliminated was for that lot to be apportioned between the Stevens and Kent House property, the blue lot, and the National Trust, the green lot. The minor change that was made, I roll this one up, is this little red triangle that is shown on this reduced version of the plat. And the change was made to move the property line of the Stevens and Kent House property over about 25 feet. So it would be closer to a line of trees, which is in this area. As I say, the change is really a minor change with the lot line adjustment. But nevertheless, the plat has been amended to reflect that. I heard your engineer in the pre-meeting address his conversation with the surveyor, Steve Johnson, And I can confirm that that is the case. We would be looking for a final resolution so that this plat could be signed, subject to notations being placed on the plat. One notation: the public water mains within the boundary lines of the parcel shown hereon are in the Cantico Water District Number 1, owned by the town of Mount Pleasant. The public water mains outside the Cantico Water District Number 1 are owned by the village of Sleepy Hollow. That would be the first additional note on the plat. The second one would be the public sewer mains shown hereon are owned by the village of Sleepy Hollow. And the third note would be the proposed sewer service for the Japanese shrine will be relabeled potential sewer service. They are the notes that would be added to the preliminary plat, and with that, we would hope that the plat could be signed by the chairperson. Previous to that, it would be signed naturally by the owners of the property and the Department of Health, the Westchester County Department of Health. Any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer.
James, does that satisfy your request for additional clarity?
Yeah, that actually sounds good. I have a question for Clinton though. Clinton, do you think it's important to also reference, I know that the notes that the applicant's attorney has just read reference the ownership of the actual utilities. Do you think it's important to also reference the ownership or who the easements that are related to those utilities benefit? Or is it implied?
I'm sorry?
Or I'm sorry, or is it implied that if a municipality owns the line, they also own the easement?
Well, presumably it would be the easement would be in favor of the municipality if the municipality owns the pipes. If you would like, we can ask Mr. Snoffer to state that regarding the easements. I don't consider it, well, if I start to say I don't consider it necessary insofar as the easement holds pipes, but certainly there's nothing wrong with doing it. Would that be possible, Mr. Snoffer?
Would be possible. I'd like to hear exactly what it is you want added on the note. I missed the first part of what you were saying. I'm sorry.
James had said that you had confirmed that the water mains and the sewer lines were owned by the village, and he raised the question of identifying the owners or the benefited parties of the easements. And I said that I didn't consider it necessary, but it certainly is commonly done. And James would like to see it done in this instance, if you don't mind.
Who are the benefited parties other than the public, than the village and the town?
I wouldn't say the public. I believe it's probably only the village and the town.
I mean, isn't that what it says? The public mains within the boundaries shown on the Botanical Water District Number 1 are owned by the town of Mount Pleasant, and the mains outside the Botanical Water District 1 are owned by the village of Sleepy Hollow.
But it doesn't state who has rights over the easements.
I'm not sure I'm understanding, other than the village and the people in the village who are served by the water, and the people in the town of Mount Pleasant who are served by the water.
It's not a matter of it's not a matter of who is it's benefited in the context that I'm using it as something of a term of art. The village is benefited by the easement. The village is the party to the easement, and presumably it gives the village the right to go onto the property to maintain it, etc. It doesn't give public rights, but only the village rights to go in, maintain, replace, etc.
Well, if the engineer wants to tell me what he wants to add on the note, I don't think there's a problem in putting it on the plat.
Okay. We could talk offline about it too. I think it's just a matter of getting the wording right and just making sure that, I think the wording that you have already, I think is fine. I think that works. I would just request that little part be added about who owns the easement. So I think we could talk about that more. I don't know if you want to work through some of the wording now.
We can talk tomorrow. Certainly, maybe we can have a conference call with Steve Johnson if you're available, and we can work out the language for it.
Sure. Or if you'd like to put something together and just email it to me, and we can take a look at it, and we can communicate over email if you'd like.
We can do that too.
Okay, so James, I'll look to you and Mr. Schnaufer and his engineer to work through the explicit wording. And with that, I would think that we are ready to get a draft resolution for the February 18th meeting.
Can I ask one thing, Chair?
Sure.
Just for the record, Mr. Schnaufer, James had asked the question about the easements, the driveway easements, and who they were for the benefit of. And I believe your surveyor said that he did not know it was historic on previous maps and surveys. And is that your understanding as well?
Yes, it is my understanding. There are many people who may benefit from that easement. That was placed on the Rockefeller family filed map. Certainly the National Trust would be a beneficiary of that driveway. There are interconnecting roads on the property. But to identify everybody who might be able to use that road would really be a feat. It could be hundreds of people.
All right.
And a sort of impossible title policy report that might be required to identify every one of them.
Yes.
Okay. So to the extent, Clinton, you want to join that on offline conversation to refine the wording for the plat, I encourage you to do so. Any other comments or questions? Okay, if not, we'll see you on February 18th.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want to set a public hearing for that for next February?
My understanding was that we didn't need a public hearing. We could draft a resolution without a public hearing.
Right, if the final plat is in conformance with the preliminary plat, it's just a submission.
Okay, good.
But the plat needs to be formally submitted at an official planning board meeting in order for it to be considered recognizable for signing. That's the issue we have with our next applicant. That they really needed just to formally submit the final plat for the planning board's consideration.
Okay. Mr. Schnaufer, do you see any reason why you can't have the final formal forever plat ready for February 18th?
No reason at all.
Okay, great.
No reason at all.
Dave, can we get a draft resolution for that same meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good night. Okay, the next is a presentation of the Hudson Valley Writers Center for a proposed subdivision final plat at 300 Riverside Drive. And I see Mr. Stephen and Ms. Palati, if I'm pronouncing that right. Can I ask everyone who's not speaking to just mute their microphone so we don't get so much background noise, please? Thank you. Ms. Palati? Okay.
Good evening. We have submitted the final subdivision plat map for your approval tonight. Just a little bit of background on the Hudson Valley Writers Center. So the Hudson Valley Writers Center owns the parcel that it is on, but the parcel currently, the deed is subject to the 250-year MTA lease. The Writer Center is in discussions with the MTA in order to have the MTA transfer their interest back to the Writer Center, and in doing so, we are asking for reapproval or approval of the final subdivision plat map. The preliminary plat map was approved in 1995. There was only a minor change by the staircase of the MTA, just in order for the MTA to properly use that staircase. If I can share my screen to just show the plat map.
Yes, please. So as I said, we're taking this parcel out of the larger MTA parcel. This parcel is assigned its own tax map number, and really what we are looking to do is formally subdivide both lots. This is the area where we made that minor change just to supplement the MTA's staircases, and other than that, no major changes were made from the original plat map. We are open to any questions. Sorry, I can zoom in a little bit more to make it. Can you zoom in just a little bit more?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from our consulting team or members?
Madam Chair, there was just a quick back and forth between our office and Kristen with respect to some of the language on the plat. And I believe that they've added there's a specific requirement for language for the signature portion of the plat. And I believe they've added that to this plat. Yeah, there it is. So the resolution that you have before you has a requirement that language be added, but they've already added it. So when we get to the resolution, we can just modify it accordingly.
Okay. Would you mind reviewing the highlights of the draft resolution, Dave?
I'm sorry, may I ask?
Yeah, go ahead, Clinton.
Ms. Plotty, I had asked you about something, giving the public access over that, yes, where the cursor is now, to get from Riverside Drive to the stairways. And you wrote back and said that the easement's in negotiation with the MTA. And I just wanted to get the status of those negotiations.
Currently, the MTA is reviewing the proposed easements. Donald Stever is also here. He could correct me on that as well. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm now unmuted. Okay. There's Clinton, there are two answers to that. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. One is, it is pretty clear that there is an easement, there's a public easement across that property that has, existed for almost 100 years. Notwithstanding that fact, what we are doing with the MTA is simply granting an easement across the pavement to the commuters or to the public to access the stairways that are shown on the plan. So if the village wanted to put a condition on this that we grant the easements, that's fine. But we're going to do it, and it's pretty clear that there's already an easement there, basically by use for the last 100 years.
All right.
So Clinton, what do you advise? We have, knowing the MTA is not super speedy in turning things around, what do you want to do in terms of managing this resolution?
We can add a note possibly to the plan or to the resolution that simply says that the Writers Center is in negotiations with the MTA for an easement over that area. And if the easement isn't in place within 2 years or whatever, that the Writers Center will declare it a public easement.
Does that work for you, Ms. Pilati?
That's fine by me. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, great. So Dave, you have drafted a resolution on this?
Yes. Okay, so I would just jotting down Clinton's notes. So the resolution that you have before you, I'm just going to, well, the resolution reflects the materials that have been submitted up through this week. I'll just go through the resolve clauses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the planning board, after review of the materials submitted, public comments and recommendations in the EAF, has determined the proposed actions a type 2 action, makes the determination of non-significance of environmental impact, and be it further resolved that the said application for a final subdivision is shown on the subdivision plat prepared for the Hudson Valley Writers Center dated January 6, 2021, is hereby granted approval, and the applicant may obtain the endorsed approval of the planning board chairperson on a copy of the resolution and the appropriate subdivision plan, which endorsement shall permit the filing of the final plat, provided, however, that this approval shall expire 1 year after the date of this resolution if the following modifications and conditions have not been completed to the satisfaction of the planning board and the village building department in accordance with the approved plans. The first condition, the applicant shall pay the village of Sleepy Hollow all application and review fees as required by the village code prior to this resolution being signed. The second condition that you had in the draft resolution you had before you referenced the specific language on the plat, but we're removing that because it's been added. So a new condition has been suggested in negotiate. I guess let me just, Clinton, did you want to paraphrase or just go through your language again so that we have? I made some notes, but
Yes, I would say that the Hudson Valley Writers Center is in negotiation with the Metropolitan Transit Association.
Transportation Authority.
Transportation Authority, thank you. For an easement over the northern set of the northern area described as, I think it's macadam something to the to the stairways. And if said easement is not in place or within the next 2 years, then the owner of the property will declare it open to the public.
Yeah, that's fine, Clinton. I mean, frankly, I think the MTA thinks that we don't need to do that, but we'll just grant them an easement. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
We'll grant the public easement. That's not a problem at all.
Okay. Thank you.
So Madam Chair, you now have a formal resolution before you for consideration.
Okay, any comments? Okay, so I guess we move to adopt the resolution. Is that right?
Yes.
Clinton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So move to adopt the resolution for the Hudson Valley Writers Center. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thomas has seconded it. Matt?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Kirsten? Okay, the resolution is passed. And we'll let Dave and Clinton work with the applicant to clean up the final language.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, bye. Okay. 45 to 49 Beekman Avenue, Sleepy Hollow Associates. And I see Mr. McGovern is here, as well as Mr. Mooney, the architect.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Yes, Kyle McGovern, the attorney for the applicant. Also with us is the principal and of the applicant, Capel Associates, Philip Adler, and our architect, David Mooney. And Madam Chair, we, in response to comments made by the board and discussions with the village's engineer, revisions were made to the site plan, and specific comments that were made by the village's engineer. And I'd like to hand it off to Mr. Mooney so if he can walk the board through that.
Okay, so the changes that we made from the earlier submission had to do with the fencing along the northern property line here and the fencing around the trash and recycling. Originally, we had a PVC fence around here, and proposed a chain link fence along this line with green woven slats in it. We've spoke with the town and decided to change this fence back here and this fence to a solid wood or PVC fence, which will work out the details with the building department. And then down at this area of the lot, as cars exit the parking lot, the fence will drop in height, and we'll that out with Sean McCarthy's department as to the appropriate height in that area. In addition, we went out and picked up the existing leaders off the roof area in response to James Natarelli's comments. 45 has two roof leaders in the back here. 47 has two, one that discharges into the subsurface area and one that discharges on the surface. And 49, all the roof drains are internal. So what we have proposed is once we determine the existing site drainage, we will do what we can to tie these drains into that. So the developer has had the trench drains in this area here and at this entrance cleaned out, but they hadn't been cleaned in so long that we need to bring in a larger contractor to jet out the lines. So once that's completed, we'll comply with the requirements of the village engineer as far as site drainage. And I think basically those were the comments from the last meeting on the site plan that we addressed.
Thank you. I had one question on the parking. Parking space number 12, is that really a usable space given the angle of entry and the refuse area?
12 here. As a compact car, I believe they can get in and get out. This truck is, is there for pickup. Once this is closed, you're basically pulling back out and then driving out of the road this way. So, but we can, this area here for the refuse is something we're going to construct. So when we lay out the parking line, we'll make sure that there's enough clearance for a compact car to get in and out.
And was there a space added along the post office building?
From the last submission, no, this is the spaces that we had. This is the handicap space. That's just the transfer area.
Okay. When the heavy duty contractor comes in to clear the drainage area, do you anticipate any worst case scenario?
No, from what we've seen, I think the water hasn't been draining through these yard drains or the trench drain for quite a long time. It's just been running off the surface into the street catch basins. So I think obviously once we get these cleaned out, there's no reason why the piping shouldn't be intact without any issues to it. It's just the amount of debris that was in there was substantial.
Okay. Any other comments from our board members or consultants?
Madam Chair, I had, whether it's a question or a comment, I don't know. My note showed that the board closed the public hearing at last week's meeting, but I noticed that the resolution says continued public hearing, and the minutes said that the public hearing had been adjourned. I don't know whether my notes are an error or the clerk's was an error.
My recollection is that we closed the public hearing.
Well, that's consistent with my notes.
And I think we asked the other Mr. Smith to draft a resolution.
Which has been drafted and circulated.
That's fine then.
And Madam Chair, we have modified the resolution to reflect that the public hearing was closed on December 21st, 2020.
The verbiage, I thought somewhere in this resolution was, okay, you did add the complete streets checklist.
Yes,
Okay.
that's in the second resolve clause.
Okay. All right, so with that, I move that we adopt the resolution. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Tom has seconded it. Ed?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Matt? Matt, are you there?
Can you hear me now? The answer is aye.
Okay. Kirsten?
Aye.
Okay, so the resolution has passed, and we'll ask you to continue working with Sean and his building department and James to get the building permits, etc.
I want to thank Madam Chair and the board, the consultants, and of course, Sean McCarthy and the building department with helping with this project. Thank you.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
investing.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank you.
investing in Sleepy Hollow.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We look forward to new apartments. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Aye.
Good luck. All right.
Okay. Last on the agenda has asked for a postponement. This is the Block A Edge on Hudson proposed retail space site plan approval. I move to open the public hearing. Can I get a second?
Second.
Matt has second. Ed?
Aye.
Kirsten?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Who else is here to speak on this public hearing?
Deborah. question from Mrs. Smiley.
Okay. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks.
So I'm Sarah Smiley. I live in Sleepy Hollow, and I'm also a member of the local chapter of Mothers Out Front, which is a national climate action organization. I watched the meeting, I think it was in November, on this topic, and I wanted to say how much I appreciate Chico and Sons for really making sustainability and energy efficiency such a priority in their building designs and material. I was really impressed, especially with their refrigeration system where they're capturing waste heat to offset other heating needs, because that kind of innovation and forward-thinking design is really critical if we want to preserve a livable climate for our children. So I'm hoping that other future builders at this development will follow their example and build to that level of energy efficiency. Given their commitment to sustainability, I'd also like to encourage Chico and Sons to explore also using geothermal for heating and/or cooling. It can be beneficial for them financially as the owner with the long-term savings from that type of system. And we as a community would really benefit because it would avoid the use of fossil fuels for that location. There's also opportunities, and I'm not a technical expert on this, but I know grocery stores have particular needs in terms of cooling, but with geothermal, you can tie in multiple buildings into a community loop, which could help balance the heating and cooling loads. So I think that's something they should explore, especially since they're also building the retail space next door. And NYSERDA has a lot of funding available to do feasibility studies for that type of system. So I hope that they take advantage of that so that they can take this building to like even the next level and reduce the carbon footprint even further. The other point I wanted to ask about was, I know they said that they're not considering solar at this time because there were concerns about the output that they were getting at another location. If that is their decision, I hope that they do go forward with a green roof, which I think they suggested that they might. But I also was wondering if they would consider doing solar carports. Looking at the parking lot, it looks like a really huge expanse of paved surface. And what a great opportunity to be able to generate renewable energy using that space. So whether they wanted to explore reaching out to a solar developer, potentially it could even be an opportunity for community solar, where local residents could directly benefit from having the solar panels there. I think that would just be a really beautiful thing for the community. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for always showing up. Did your other question to Edge on Hudson and Toll get answered in terms of the electrification of those Block I apartments, whether the cooktops were going to be induction?
No, I didn't get a response.
Okay.
So maybe if the planning board could follow up next time they're here.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, if there are no other comments.
We do have another question.
We do? Okay.
Yes, I'm Arlene Siegel. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Arlene Siegel. I live in Sleepy Hollow on Bellwood. Also a member of Mothers Out Front. And I wanted to second what Sarah was saying, and also just to suggest that it would be particularly helpful if the site was available to pedestrians and bicyclists, especially since DeChico seems very concerned with their environmental impact. It would be helpful to have the pedestrian and bicycle access be readily available.
If you watched one of the previous planning board meetings, you'll have heard that they are adding a staircase from higher up on Beekman down to that parking lot, specifically to facilitate walkers. That's people walkers, not the other kind. And then also at Aaron's suggestion are adding bicycle parking both for shoppers as well as employees of the supermarket. So they're
That's wonderful. I didn't know that. Thank you.
yeah, they've been very responsive. So
That's great.
yeah. Okay, any other comments, Ms. Siegel?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you for attending this evening. Okay. And if nothing else, I move to close the public hearing, no, adjourn the public hearing until February 18th, 2021.
Second.
Kirsten has seconded it. Matt?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing adjourned until February. All right. Last on the agenda is the approval of minutes. So there were two sets of minutes, the December 17th, 2020 minutes. I didn't see any edits. I move to adopt the minutes of December 21st, 2020. Can I get a second?
Aye.
Madam Chair, there was the comment that I noted about the closing of the public hearing.
Oh, I thought you said that her minutes were accurate, that it was the resolution that was inaccurate.
I did say that about the resolution, but her minutes said that again, that the meeting was adjourned.
Oh, instead of closed. I
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for catching that. So can we approve as amended?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
If you, I'm sorry. Yes, you can. You may.
All right. So move to approve the December 21st, 2020 minutes, amending that the Sleepy Hollow Associates public hearing was closed on that date. And
It was the Hudson Valley Writer Center.
was it the Hudson Valley? Okay, well, we closed both public hearings, actually. Yes. All right. As stated. Can I get a second? Kirsten seconds. Ed?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are approved and adopted. And then there was also another meeting on January 7th, 2021. Any comments on that? Clinton, were they accurate?
I haven't read them. I'm sorry.
Thanks for your honesty.
You look good.
Did everyone else have a chance to read them? If not, we can put off until February the approval of the January 7th minutes. Did everyone read them?
I have not.
I had no comments.
Yeah, I had no comments either. They looked fine. All right. I move to approve and adopt the minutes of January 7th.
So moved.
2021. Ed has seconded it. Aaron,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Kirsten,
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Okay. 1/7/2021 minutes have been adopted. And hopefully they meet Clinton's scrutiny. All right, very good. So with that, we'll see everybody in February, if not sooner, and stay healthy. I move to close this meeting.
Second.
Tom, second. Kirsten,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Aaron.
Aye.
All right, good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Aye.
Good night.
Thanks.